Hi ladies, this is just a review of what you're going to need to know for the linear algebra exam for your Year 9. First of all, we need to remember how to plot coordinates. Now remember, coordinates have an x value and a y value. The x is the across and the y is to the sky. So if I was going to plot on an equation, if I wanted to plot the point 3, 2, this will be my x value and that'll be my y value in the same order that we'd say the alphabet. X is across and y to the sky, so it's going to be 3 across and 2 up, and that's how I could plot my little points right on the little corner there. Okay, so remember how to do that for your equations, for your coordinates. So the next thing you need to do is be able to find the next few patterns or next few numbers in a pattern. So if I had 3, 7, 11, 15, what I'd need to do is see how much I'm having to add. So I'm going to have to add 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm adding 4. From 7 to 11, I'm adding 4 as well. And from 11 to 15, I'm adding 4. So to find the next value, it would be 15 plus 4 is 19. And then 19 plus 4 is 23. And 23 plus 4 is 24 to 5 to 6, 20. 7. So those are the next three values. Just check, are they going up in a constant amount? That would be your linear equation, y equals mx plus c, or are they going up by some other amount? They might be being multiplied or going up by a bigger figure each time, so just check that. Next would be looking at a pattern and deciding what to draw next. So in this case, I've got one little shape and then I've got 2 of them, then I've got 3 of them. So the next one would be the 3 that they've been given. And I'm just going to add on an extra one to the top. So there we go. Doesn't have to be beautiful. Usually you'd be counting the matchsticks or something like that as well. So just see what they're asking you to do. So the next would be to find the equation of the pattern. Now most of the ones we've done are in the form y equals mx plus c. So in a linear form, there's a constant amount being added on. So we said each time here we were just adding 4. So each time we were adding 4, so that's my common difference. That is my m value. So I've got y equals 4x. It's in my 4 times table. It's increasing by 4 each time. So what I'd need to do is times my x value by 4. Now, when you're trying to think of that, just remember my pattern number 1 was 3. My pattern number 2 was 7. My pattern number 3 was 11. So I had that, so and I knew I'm adding 4 between those. If I say this here x, that's my y, my output that's coming out. If I said 4x, well that would be 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 3 is 12. So if I'm adding those on each time, so 4, 8, 12 would be my outputs or my y values that I would have got, I know that to get the actual value from each of those, I need to minus 1 from 4 to get 3, and minus 1 from 8 to get 7. So my c, or my little thing that I would have started at, would have been negative 1. So that is another one that you will need to remember, finding the equation of the pattern. Next thing you'll need to know is how to plot a graph using a table or what you know about the y-intercept gradient method. Now, first of all, I'll show you using a table. So if I had the equation y equals 3x plus 2, first of all, I'll draw a little table and I need to put in some x values. Now, they might have given them to you. If they don't, put in easy ones like -1, 0, 1, and 2. What we're going to do is substitute this into my equation I was given. So this is 3x plus 2. So 3 times -1, that's over there, plus 2. So 3 times -1 is -3, plus 2 is -1. So my x value is -1 and my y value is also -1. let's see what happens when I substitute 0 in. 0 times 3 is 0, plus 2 is 2. So when x is 0, y is 2. And if I substitute 1 in, it'll be 1 times 3 plus 2. And 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So if I substitute 1 in, I'm going to have a y value of 5. I think I've actually got enough points there. You can do that last one as well if you want to. You should come up with the point 2, 8. X is 2, obviously, and y would be 8. Check and see if you can do that. Now I'm going to plot these points. The point -1, -1 is here. X first is -1, and then y is -1. When x is 0, y is 2. We know that as our x-intercept. And when x is 1, y is 5. And then what you can do is draw a line through those points. Remember, continue a little bit further on each side and make sure that that is all good. Now, we could also use our y equals mx plus c. I'm going to just write this out again. Remember, y equals mx plus c. So, remember, m is my gradient, which is rise over run. Now, if I've got a whole number, remember, I need to put it over 1. Why? Because 3 divided by 1 still gives me 3. So 3 is my rise and 1 is my run. Now, I don't know where to start, so I need to look and see what other information I have. I know that c equals 2. Now, remember, c is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is where it cuts on my y-axis. So this is my y-axis over here. So I'm going to go y equals 2. And from there, I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and across 1. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, and across 1. And then I can join those points. And as you can see, the 3 points that I got make the same straight line. Okay? Now, the last thing you need to do is be able to look at a graph and understand what it's saying to you. So this is a graph of ordering pizza from Pizza Hut, and it's telling me some things. So first of all, it cuts my y-axis at 10. And then I need to look at what my gradient is. So my y-intercept is 10, and my gradient is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. So my gradient is 5 over 1, which I can write just as 5, because 5 divided by 1 is 5. So I've got the equation cost equals 5 times, sorry, that shouldn't say cost, that's number of pizzas. 5 times pizzas, number of pizzas, plus my C, which is 10. Now, what do you think it cost just to deliver? In other words, if I hadn't bought any pizza at all, if they were just going to drive to my house, where am I starting before I even bought? I'm starting at $10. Can you see it starts at 10 over there? So that must be my delivery cost. So my y-intercept is my flat rate. That's my flat fare. That's how much I have to pay. Doesn't matter how many, well, obviously I have to order at least one. So what is the cost per pizza? Well, for every extra pizza I'm buying, it's costing me an extra $5. So it must be that. And I've already written out my formula. That is over there. And how much do 2 pizzas cost delivered? And that is going to be, if I just go 1, 2 and read up from there, it's going to be $20. So I can actually write that out just from there. And my last question is, how much would 10 pizzas cost? Now, that's right over there and it's gone off my graph. I can't actually read it from there, but I could use my formula. I am buying for, so my cost equals 5 times the number of pizzas plus 10. So 5 times 10 gives me 50, plus an extra $10 for delivery would be $60. And those are all the things you need to know. Most of them are quite straightforward and make a lot of sense. Please make sure you either look up some videos that I've made to remind yourself of any of those things, or please see me. We will do some examples in class.